Hey everyone, Dr. Lena here, and today I'm going to be going over a book that I find very helpful with regards to my training and just personal benefits that I find from going over and understanding how to use the book Seeking Safety. And as you can see, it says it's a treatment manual for PTSD and substance abuse. It's by Dr. Lisa Najavitz, and she is a psychiatrist from Harvard, and she basically wrote this empirically supported book, which is very research based, and I personally love it. I feel like it's definitely one of my top picks, and that's why today I want to go over kind of just how you use the book and a treatment topic that I find really beneficial to not only use with clients dealing with PTSD and substance abuse, but also for yourself personally if you feel like you are trying to recover in general, whether it's from a medical issue or it is from psychological or emotional. I personally think it helps when we get stuck in that negative thinking kind of aspect. And so let's dive in. So there are two chapters in the book. The first book is just an overview, and the second chapter is how you actually conduct the treatment. But where I want us to go and focus, because those two sections are more for like the clinician's perspective and how the clinician should conduct group therapy or individual therapy. But the reason why I wanted to share this book is because I want it to be applicable to anyone who isn't a clinician or is a clinician, and how it can be used for yourself. Okay, so there are, after the two chapters are outlined in the contents, it goes into the treatment topic, and the treatment topics, there are 24 of them, so I'll just read a couple. There's safety, detaching from emotional pain, grounding, which is what we're going to go into. There is asking for help, honesty, which is very important in recovery thinking, community resources, how to create meaning, respecting your time, healthy boundaries in relationships, self-nurturing, healing from anger. So as you can tell, like these should all be topics that at some point you're just thinking like, hey, I wonder how I can help myself in that particular area, because it's so relatable, even though it's specific to PTSD and substance abuse. Okay, so let's go into one of the sections. Particularly today, I wanted to go over grounding. So this is on page 125 for those of you who do actually have the book. But just so we're clear, grounding is basically detaching from emotional pain, and it is also called centering, looking outward, distraction, or healthy, or it is a healthy detachment. And it's basically a strategy you use when you're triggered by something external or internal that puts you in a state where you're experiencing pain, where you're not able to deal with what is happening to you, which then basically kind of paralyzes you from doing other things in your day-to-day living and your responsibilities. Okay, so once you kind of get oriented with what grounding is, you then are given some preparation for the session format, session content, which me personally, when I conduct group therapy or individual therapy, I don't like to act like I'm reading off of a book. I like to be organic, which is why it's so important to do prep work in advance and then just go with the flow when you're doing individual or group therapy. Because usually you have about 45 minutes to an hour in either session. and you just don't want to come off robotic, right? You want to be in tune, you want to have active listening, you want to validate, and of course you want to be present. Now switching gears, when you are using this book just to kind of psychoeducate yourself, or you want to share it with others, obviously there's no time limit, but you do want to take the time to kind of understand the backing of why you're doing the treatment topic for yourself. So for example, let's say me, after I recovered from sepsis, I definitely had some PTSD where I felt a little traumatized, and I felt a little depressed, and remembering that I had this book was amazing because it allowed me to go and pick up on some strategies that I was teaching other people to use that I could now use for myself. So when you go to page 130 and 131, you'll see that there is a breakdown of different types of grounding, and there are 3 in particular. There is mental grounding, physical grounding, and soothing grounding. And these 3 are the different ways to help yourself detach from the pain that you're feeling. So when it comes to mental grounding, you might want to engage in one of the activities mentioned. There's several examples, but the one that I really like is you can count to 10, or you can say the alphabet really slowly. So by doing this, you're allowing your prefrontal to activate, and you're allowing yourself to kind of slow down what it is you're experiencing as far as emotional pain, and you're saying it very slowly. So you might say either the ABCs or 1, 2, 3s, and you might want to say it very slow, and I'm going to show you an example. So you might say A, B, C. So I'm putting a pause in between each letter to give myself a chance to get a grip and feel grounded. Okay, so moving on, there is then physical grounding. So this can be something that is more related to the tangible and something that you feel or notice your body is feeling as far as the sensation. You might want to eat something and describe its flavor or notice its flavor. You might want to stretch and put yourself in the position to actually feel the stretching and be present with that. You can also focus on your breathing, which is an easy one because, sometimes we might be in the car, right? How are you going to stretch? Or you might be at work and you don't have that time or space. Just allow yourself to just maybe close your eyes for a couple minutes and just remember that you are breathing and that everything is going to be fine. And just observe the inhaling and exhaling through your mouth and nose. Okay, so like the third part of grounding is soothing grounding. And this one's kind of cool too. It kind of basically is trying to tell yourself to remember things that put you at ease. So you might want to say nice things to yourself, like, you are a good person, but you're just going through a hard time. You'll get through this. So that's something you might want to repeat back to yourself to kind of soothe your soul, is what I think ultimately you're doing. You can also think of like things that you really love doing and enjoy eating, for example. So in that moment where you feel like you're overwhelmed, just try to get yourself to activate your prefrontal to start thinking of things like, I enjoy doing this because, or try to get a visual. It says here, picture people you care about, right? So that could be your child, it could be a mentor, it could be a friend, a partner, a sibling, a parent. You might want to carry a picture of them with you. That's what it says in the book. And this might give you the opportunity to just give yourself a friendly reminder of why you're doing what you're doing, which is, recovering. You're trying to gain a grip of your emotional pain and do this as often as you can. Obviously, it's not going to be like off the bat easy in the beginning. Nothing is, right? Just like exercising. But these are mental activities. These are good activities to help you exercise your well-being and recovering. And one of the best ways I feel to kind of practice this is to also preach it. So, practice what you preach, but also preach what you practice. And that's about it. This is pretty much the same layout for each section of the treatment. As you can tell, the book is pretty thick in terms of there are a lot of material and activities you can do. And each section has a quote. So we'll end this particular review with the quote of "No feeling is final." And I think that's a great reminder from a German poet, Rainer Maria Rilke. Okay, so that's it for now. Remember, now the book is called Seeking Safety, and I'll be in touch with more reviews and information. So stay tuned. Thank you. Bye.